going to begin this hour with an exclusive and frank conversation, we should say, with country music star, that's Jason Aldean. So he's been drawing both praise and criticism for his hit song. It's called Try That in a Small Town. Here's a listen.
We'll try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road.
Now, critics say the song and its music video is full of racial undertones and threats of violence. It's now one of the singles on Aldean's new album. It's called Highway Desperado. It comes out this week. Our Jan Crawford met up with Aldean at the studio in Nashville where he recorded it. This is his first network news interview about the controversy.
Yeah, but that's the way we get down. In a hick town.
It's the sound of modern country music.
She plays to the prayer she prays.
And Jason Aldean laid its foundation.
What's going on, guys? Here I wanted to come back to you, and I wanted to bring you a video with Jason Aldean talking to CBS's morning show. And they asked him point blank, you know, do you understand that your song, Try That in a Small Town, makes people feel uncomfortable? And he's like, you know, no, I that's not why I wrote the song. But if it makes certain people feel uncomfortable, you know, oh well, it's going to. But we have to look at why it's making people feel uncomfortable. We have to look at why it's making people feel the way it's making people feel, or the way they say it's making them feel. You know, again, it's talking about lawlessness. It's talking about the Black Lives Matter protesting and everything being burnt down, torn up. That's what it's talking about. And again, try that in a small town. We're not putting up with that stuff here. That's what he's talking about. You know, kind of like the Kyle Rittenhouse situation. We're not putting up with that here. And if you do that, and if you attack us, man, guess what? We're going to take care of our own. And again, that's not talking about white and black or anything. That's talking about lawlessness. But again, right now in this country, it's controversial if you demonize lawlessness. Because right now it's seen as acceptable to commit certain crimes, especially if you're of a certain race, because you've been oppressed. And we got to understand, man, that is just stupid. It's just totally stupid, but that's where we are.
But over the summer, Aldean, who doesn't shy away from expressing his views,
Pull a gun on the owner of a liquor store. You think it's cool?
found himself in the middle of controversy over his song, Try That in a Small Town.
Stomp on the flag and light it up. Yeah, you think it's tough.
It divided the internet.
Jason Aldean's song is racist, and if you can't see that, you're part of the problem.
What he talked about was people who steal, people who carjack, people who burn flags, and you interpret that as he must be speaking about black people.
Supporters felt the song upheld small-town values in uncertain times,
Around here we take care of our own.
while others heard racism and subtle calls for violence.
What was your reaction when you saw people saying that this had racist undertones and, you know, it was like a call to arms, you know, it was like a call to arms in small towns. It was a threatening kind of video for black people. I mean, people were putting this on, like,
But there was
TikTok.
people of all color doing stuff in the video. That's what I don't understand. You know, there was white people in there. There was black people. I mean, this video did not shine light on one specific group and say that's the problem. So, and anybody that saw that in the video, then you weren't looking hard enough in the video, is all I can tell you.
If you have a strong emotion about something, you have to recognize that you're most likely wrong. I mean, you are. Because there's something inside of you that's already prejudging that situation. Again, if you're thinking clearly, you're not all emotional about something. You know, so if you can look at something and assess it for what it is, then you'll probably come out with the correct answer. And people that believe that this video in the song is racist, there's something wrong with you. You're looking at something a certain way. You've already made up your mind, prejudged the situation. Again, it's just white people, black people. I think in the video, there's more white people doing things wrong in the video. But, I mean, again, people, they want to see what they want to see because they prejudge the situation. Again, cops do things wrong. They do. But we have to recognize, man, if you automatically go towards a place of, look at those cops, they're doing, what are they doing wrong this time? Something inside of you need to look at. Same thing with, what are those white people doing? Those white people are always doing something wrong. They're always oppressing us. There's something going on within you. You have to recognize, man, that you've been sold something. You've been told something. And whatever you've been told might not be right. You have to look at that. You have to be honest about that. And that's the only way you're going to access something in the right way. If not, man, it's all going to be about blaming this or blaming that or blaming this person, that person, this group, that group. It's going to be about that.
The song mostly flew under the radar when it was released, but when the music video came out in July, it took off, skyrocketing to #1 across all musical genres in the country.
I love the song. I was excited to cut it and thought it was actually a song that said something for a change, not just here's another song for radio.
Did you think, well, this might not go over well with some people, but I'm going to say it?
On the second verse, it says,
Gun that my granddad gave me. They say one day they're gonna round up.
that I thought was going to be the biggest issue with the song, was that it said gun, and that, will tend to get people talking sometimes about that. So, I didn't expect it to get the kind of heat that it got. And I think that was more probably because of the video more so than the actual song.
Part of that heat was because of where the video was filmed, in front of the Murray County Courthouse in Columbia, Tennessee, the site of a 1927 lynching of a black teen.
For anybody that thinks that we picked that building specifically for that reason, because, there was a lynching there or whatever.
Did you know that?
No. But I also don't go back 100 years and check on the history of a place before we go shoot it.
Who goes back and checks, if something happened at a courthouse or at a building or whatever 100 years ago? Plus, nobody does. They don't. Well, again, I grew up in the South. I grew up between Atlanta, Georgia, and South Carolina. And one thing I will say, man, there are a lot of buildings in the South when things happen to that. I mean, unfortunately, we have to remember that years ago, the South was segregated. There was slavery. We have to understand that. I mean, again, it doesn't mean anyone is bad because they filmed something outside of a building that something happened. There was something happened 100, 150 years ago, whatever. I mean, we have to understand that, that didn't happen. People, they don't think to themselves that, hey, look, a lynching happened here 17 years ago, whatever. And they think to themselves, hey, I'm going to shoot this video here. They don't. And again, if people understood that, they probably would have shot the video there. But, they chose the location because, hey, it's a big, beautiful building. And they shot the building. They shot the video out in front of it. Again, nobody knows that what happened 100 and some odd years ago out there. Unless somebody looks for it. Because, again, they don't say that in the song. They don't allude to that in the video because, again, they didn't know themselves.
It's also the place that I go get my car tags every year. It's my county that I live in.
Would you do it in that courthouse again, knowing what you know now?
Knowing what I know now, probably not. But it's also, I don't think, again, I'm not going to go back 100 years and check on the history of this building. Because honestly, if you're in the South, you could probably go to any small town courthouse. You're going to be hard pressed to find one that hasn't had some sort of, racial issue over the years at some point. I mean, that's just a fact.
Critics also slammed Aldean for the images. Aldean says he didn't choose the specific clips, but the overall look of the video was his idea. Inspired by Billy Joel's "We Didn't Start the Fire."
The whole idea behind the video was to show, the lawlessness and the, disrespect for cops and just, trashing cities and burning. I'm just not cool with that. So I don't know. I feel like the narrative really got switched over and became, more of a racial type thing. And it's like, if that's what you got out of the song and the video, I mean, I almost kind of feel like that's on you, because that wasn't our intention,
Aldean says the song may resonate with him more because news reports of crime and violence feel personal. He was on stage in Las Vegas when a gunman opened fire, killing 60 people at the Route 91 festival.
But guys, we got to understand that right now, crime is out of control in this country. It is. And Jason Aldean, he wanted to write a song and he wanted to have a video showing his disapproval for the way things are. And to me, that speaks volumes about the man's character. And right now, because he advocates doing the right thing, not the wrong thing, we somehow deem that as racist. We have to understand, man, this country needs to really look at itself, really look at what we value and what we promote. If we're seeing his video and his song is racist. You son of a.